So, hi, I'm Karen. Thanks everyone for being here. I'm with Leaf River Pottery in a tiny town of Verndale, Minnesota. And I'm here to do a short little demonstration on a project that we put together in our studio. I actually have a mobile studio. So a project that we put together in our studio. What we did was we painted 3 of the mason jar ornaments, and we painted them all 3 different colors, and we left them blank so that they could be used as dry erase. So what we did was we put the picture of the ornaments on our Facebook page. We do everything on Facebook. And then we put together some pictures of how they could be used. One of which was like on a basket of potatoes to maybe use in your pantry. This one says potatoes. I also have another sample that we showed everyone. And that is like in your linen closet. We did one that says towels. And like I said, these are dry erase, so they can be completely versatile. You can use them any way you want. And I'm just here to show you how we put together our kits, because what happened was as soon as we put the pictures of the painted pottery and the samples on Facebook, we sold out within an hour. So they were really popular for us. All right, so why don't we go ahead and get together. Oh wait, I wanted to tell you, Bisque Imports has put together a kit as well. They have 3 ornaments that you can purchase or have drop shipped to your customers, stock in your studio. And so it's a Bisque kit that you can find under the Bisque tab on their website. All right, so why don't we go ahead and get to the fun part, which is the painting. I'm just gonna move the phone here. All right, so I think that looks pretty good. So here I'm gonna move my pieces out of the way. So I have a whole bunch of bisque ornaments here that are all ready to go. They've all been wiped down and are ready to use. All right, so in my kit, I provide 4 colors: a dark brown, a dark gray, a dark teal, and white. All right, and I send everything out in these little cups. I actually just got these at a dollar store. And all of the colors for this project, except for one, are diluted to a 50-50 mix. All right, so I have 3 colors I pre-mixed for today, but we'll go ahead and mix up the dark brown. So I just add some to the little cup.
Lynn Cohen says hello from Kansas.
Oh, looks like we have some comments. Hello, everybody. I see your comments. I have a helper today. His name is Dalton, and he'll be letting me know if you have any questions, okay? And why don't we just go ahead and pretend like we don't see the thumb or the finger support. I managed to smash my finger while gardening this week, so I have a brace. All right, so I just kind of shake it a little bit gently in the cup, and now I have a mixture of half paint and half water.
Belinda says hi from Louisiana.
Oh wow, so hi from Louisiana as well. Great. Thank you everybody for coming today. All right, so when I paint these, I use a soft fan brush. I usually get my brush wet first. You guys all know how to paint. I'm gonna paint 2 of my ornaments with dark brown. I'm gonna set the 3rd one aside for now. So I usually just dip right into my cup, all right? And I paint the front and the back with 1 coat of dark brown. I make sure I go in the exact same direction every time, so just work with the shape, same direction, all right? 2 pieces, front and back, with the diluted dark brown.
We got from Oklahoma, Ontario, Canada, and Kentucky.
Wow, so Oklahoma, Ontario, and Kentucky. Welcome to everyone.
We also got a question here. Are these paints acrylic or glaze?
Okay, so I said paint, but these are actually glazed. These are all under glazes. It would work just fine with Mako or Duncan. All right, so there's one coat of brown on the front of that one.
Teresa would like to ask, why do you dilute the paint with water?
I dilute the paint because I like to get this kind of undertone. I'll finish painting this one and I'll show you what I do here. So, I'm not sure how well you can see in my sample here, but when you look at it, you can see the teal on top, but through the teal, you can actually see the brown underneath, all right? So you can see the lines. That's why I paint everything in the same direction. It kind of gives it a antiqued look. I use the same technique a lot when I'm creating like a wood planking look. So it shows both colors with one just kind of peeking through underneath the main top coat.
We got hi from Texas and Georgia.
Hi Texas and Georgia, thanks for being here. Okay, so now I did the two with the dark brown, okay? So I'm gonna set that aside. Like I said, this is a 50-50 mix of paint and water, or glaze and water. The next one, the third one, I paint with the dark brown. Again, dark gray. Again, it's a diluted mixture, dark gray and water. Okay, so everything in one direction.
Teresa says, thanks for the explanation.
You're welcome, Teresa. Feel free to ask questions anytime. All right, and then I just touch up the sides, make sure I get a little color. So because we're painting everything with a diluted mixture, things tend to dry pretty quickly because it's a very thin layer of paint. All right. So we're done with that dark gray for now. All right, so as you can see, they're all starting to dry. Everything has one coat, just one single diluted coat, all right? So it's not very dark at all. It looks dark because the colors are a dark pigment, but it's not very dark at all. Next, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take my teal color, again, a 50-50 mix, teal and water, and I'm going to paint front and back on one of the dark brown ones, all right? This time, I'm going to do two coats. All right, so I'm gonna set these aside. Again, I paint all in the same direction, all right? Because I wanna be able to see those lines show through.
Helen has a question that says, have you ever tried going in the opposite direction with the top coat? So maybe going horizontal?
So I don't usually crosshatch on this particular project. I have on other projects, but with this one, I've always just stayed the same. Okay, so that's one coat. Now two, all right? And again, it's just a thin amount of color because it's been diluted so much, but yet it will provide you with enough coverage to get that streaky kind of look.
Matt would like to ask, could you use a wax crayon at this point if you wanted to keep pigment off certain areas?
I would think so. I've never tried that, but I don't see why not. Absolutely. So yeah, I think you could use a wax crayon, Matt. Okay, and then I'm gonna let that one dry for a minute. Okay, on the other dark brown. So the second dark brown jar, I'm going to go over this one with the dark gray. All right, so again, I just do two coats. I just kind of float the paint on there. Two coats just to kind of cover it up. So as it dries over here on the teal one, I can start to see the dark brown peeking through. And that's the look I was going for. Okay, and I'm going to paint the sides. Okay, just like that. So ornament 1, dark brown base with a dark teal over the top. 1 coat dark brown, 2 coats dark teal, both diluted. Ornament 2, dark brown base with a dark gray on the top. Again, 1 coat for the base, 2 coats for the top. All right, I'm going to set these aside. On my last ornament, this is the one that we painted dark gray for our back coat. On this one, I do the white. Okay, so again, my white has already been pre-diluted. And I'm going to paint 2 to 3 coats of the white. It really depends on what it looks like when it dries. I kind of make a judgment call to see how much of the undercolor I can see. I often compare it to the other 2 that I've already done. You know, am I seeing more of the undercolor or am I seeing less? That way I know if I want 2 to 3 coats of the white. All right, and I'll touch up the sides. Now, normally, I would go and paint the backs next. But just for the purposes of the video, I will skip that part. But just so you know, once the front was dry enough, I'm gonna flip it and do 2 coats of the color on the back, okay? But just for the video, we'll just move on to the next technique. All right, as soon as I finish this white one. Okay, so as I'm doing this, I can see the dark gray start to shine through, and I think that's about a spot where I kind of like it. So I'm gonna just move this off to the side and let that one dry as well. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to the teal. So like I said, normally I would now do 2 coats of the teal on the back and let that dry, but we can all just move forward and go to the detailing. All right, so on the detailing, all I do is I add some white lines just to kind of outline the jar, add a little half circle here at the bottom, make some highlights, okay? But I keep everything kind of to the outside so there's plenty of space for the dry erase marker. Okay. I do not use a diluted paint for this. All right, so I go with a full strength white paint or glaze for my detail work. All right, so what I do is I use my glaze bottle. So this is a pint bottle, and I use my pint bottle and I just kind of line up the corners of the bottom of the jar, all right? So I have my pint bottle right here in the corner and right here in the corner. And I take my pencil and I ever so lightly just sketch around the bottle. That one was a little bit off, but there we go. Okay, so now I have a little half circle here for a line or a guide for me to follow to create the half circle on the bottom of the jar. All right, I'm sure you could just sketch that as well, but I always just use the pint bottle since it's there. So again, I just use full strength white paint. Now, the question came up earlier if they were glazes or if they were acrylics. I am using glazes, but I think that this project would probably work really well with acrylics as well. So it's pretty flexible.
Samantha says, way to use what you have.
Thanks, Samantha. We just take advantage of what's sitting in front of us. Okay, so on this, I usually add 2 coats of the white. Now I'm a heavy painter, so perhaps you might need 3, just to make sure that the white stands out from your darker color background. But I usually just do 2. And it's just all by hand. It's just rough. It doesn't have to be exact in any way. I like to highlight the ridges on the top of the jar. Just like that. You can certainly paint them any way that you like. Create your own design. Make your own highlights or shadows. I really like the way that the Bisque Imports painted theirs in their kits. They look really nice. So it's all very simple, by hand, no rules to follow, anything can go. Just like that. Paint this last side. Maybe just a little bit more right here. And as you can see, that's pretty much it. Real simple project, easy for your customers to create a fun look, a professional look with not a lot of skill or talent being needed. It's just simple painting and a little bit of highlighting. So once I'm done, I let them dry and I fire them. I glaze them and dip glaze them, and then I fire them. And then I just add a simple little piece of twine to each project so that when they get it back, they can immediately hang it up. So does anybody have any questions? We'll just take a few moments. I'll work on the next one. If you have any questions, now would be a great time to ask. I was going to show you also, as this one's drying, I really wish that I could know if you would see this. I'm not sure. If somebody could let me know. You can really start to see how the brown comes out. It shows up through the top color. That is what creates the streakiness. All right. All right, so it doesn't look like we really have any questions today. So if you do, feel free to post them here after the video and I will check back and I'll make sure I can respond. But my items just need the backs painted and then they're all ready to glaze and fire. So I just want to thank everyone again. Thanks for coming. And I hope you give the ornament kits a try, because like I said, they sold out right away in our area and it was great for our studio. Thanks to Bisque Imports for inviting me to be here today. I hope everyone has a great holiday weekend. Thanks. Bye-bye.